There's a special kind of person who looks at the vast, roaring ocean and sees not a barrier, but a path. They see a challenge that calls to something deep within their soul, a question that can only be answered by casting off the lines and heading for the horizon. This isn't just about sailing, it's about pushing the very limits of human endurance, skill, and courage. We're talking about the incredible feat of solo sailing, non-stop, around the entire planet. This is the Vendée Globe, a race so demanding, so utterly relentless that it has rightfully earned its nickname, the Everest of the Seas. At its core, the Vendée Globe is not just a race of boat against boat, it is a profound contest between the human spirit and the raw, untamable power of the ocean. Out there, in the vast emptiness of the sea, titles, wealth, and status mean nothing. All that matters is your skill, your resilience, and your will to keep going. We are drawn to these tales because they reflect our own struggles, magnified on a global stage. The sailors of the Vendée Globe become symbols of what is possible. One of the very first was Joshua Slocum, a rugged Nova Scotian mariner. In 1895, he set off from Boston in a small 37-foot oyster boat he had rebuilt himself, named the Spray. His journey was a true pioneering effort guided by traditional navigation and an almost supernatural feel for the sea. When he finally returned to Newport, Rhode Island in 1898, he had achieved something no one had ever done before. The transition from a personal quest to an organized race happened back in 1968, and honestly, it all started with a bit of a fib. The Sunday Times saw the potential for an epic story and decided to create a race out of it, the Golden Globe Race. The choice of Les Sables d'Olonne as the start and finish port was no accident. This charming fishing town in the Vendée region of France already had sailing in its blood. It's here that hundreds of thousands of spectators gather, lining the stone walls to farewell the skippers on their departure and to welcome them home as heroes months later. The route would be simple and honestly pretty brutal. Start from Les Sables d'Olonne, sail down the Atlantic, go east about around Antarctica passing the three Great Capes, Good Hope, Leeuwin, and the Horn, and then sail all the way back up the Atlantic. Inside, an IMOCA 60 is a bare, dark, and brutally functional carbon fiber cave. There are no creature comforts. The living space is cramped, Spartan, and often wet. The most dramatic innovation in recent years has been the addition of foils. As the boat picks up speed, these foils generate lift, raising a significant portion of the hull out of the water, allowing the boats to achieve breathtaking speeds. For the solo skipper in the Vendée Globe, there's no such thing as a normal day or a good night's sleep. Life is governed not by the clock on the wall, but by the wind, the waves, and the constant demands of the boat. At just 24 years old, she was one of the youngest competitors, standing on the starting line with fierce determination. She was an underdog in every sense, competing against seasoned, mostly French veterans. In one famous incident, she had to climb the 90-foot mast in freezing violent seas to repair a damaged halyard. This single act of bravery, broadcast to the world, cemented her reputation as a true warrior of the seas. If Ellen MacArthur's story was one of raw grit and human endurance, then the tale of François Gabart in the 2012 to 2013 race totally represented the dawn of a new era. François Gabart sailed across the finish line after an astonishing 78 days, 2 hours, and 16 minutes. He didn't just win the Vendée Globe on his very first attempt, he smashed the previous record by 6 days. We witness incredible acts of sportsmanship, where competitors abandon their own race to rescue a fellow sailor in distress. They sacrifice their own race for a fellow sailor's life. We are moved by the raw emotion of a skipper speaking to their family for the first time in months, or the sheer joy and relief etched on their face as they finally sail back into the harbor. Imagine a silence so profound it has weight. Imagine an emptiness so vast it stretches beyond the horizon in every direction, day after day, week after week. This is the world of the Vendée Globe skipper. This deep, unrelenting isolation strips away all the distractions of modern life, forcing the skippers into a stark confrontation with their own thoughts, fears, and memories. Mental strength in the Vendée Globe is not an abstract concept. It is a tangible weapon, as critical as a strong hull or a well-designed sail. Skippers spend years actively forging this mental armor. These sailors are the modern-day adventurers. the spiritual descendants of Slocum and Knox Johnston, who continue to answer the enduring call of the horizon. The image of a single sailor returning to the embrace of the crowds in Les Sables d'Olonne is a powerful conclusion to an epic saga, but it is also a beginning. The Everest of the seas will continue to call, and as long as it does, humanity will continue to answer, ready to sail into the legend once more.